have the concept of making things other than using hand. Like, for example, if people back then, if they look at the sky, okay, they would expect the things that can fly atas langit itu, burung, semua tu lah. Dia tak akan expect ada sesuatu yang nama kapal terbang, UFO ke, ataupun apa-apa yang boleh terbang atas langit. Because in their dictionary or in their knowledge, those things that can fly on the sky is birds. That's all. Or any supernatural lah. Contohnya angels ke ataupun goddess ke, itu boleh terbang. Itu that is in their perception that manufacturing or manufacturers is to produce by hand, because back then they do not have machines, they do not have robots, okay, they do not have automation or those kind of things that can help them to produce. All right, so that's why in this definition of manufacturing, so it's called manufacturers is to produce or made by hand. All right, so it's just like how the phrase that I used to I like a lot. Actually, it's from the movie called Iron Man 2. Okay, so during one of these scene actually is that Tony Stark actually had to go through some of the video clips that his father recorded, previously. In the end of the video clip, his father basically sit down and looks somehow like, there's nothing I can do. Okay, then he tell Tony Stark that I built this for you. Okay, and then he say, I was limited by the technology of our time. Okay, so this is a phrase that actually is quite a very stay a lot of sense. Like even for today, there's a lot of things we can say we were limited by the technology of our time. There's a lot of things that we still can't do with our current technology, with our current understanding, with our current research level, and knowledge, and so on and so forth. Right? If, for instance, if you tell people like 30 years ago that I can have a device holding in my hand that is capable of doing almost everything. It can be a notebook. It can be to write, to typing a document, communicator, alarm clock, a camera, video camcorder, and so on and so forth. I.e., that is our smartphone. People will say, nah, it's quite impossible. You need tengok movie banyak sangat ke? Star Wars fan, obviously. Why don't you just talk? You have a hologram, that can burst, an image of the people up, when you are talking to somebody. Now, itu scenery from Star Wars that appears something like 1970 plus lah, 70-an lah. Masa tu dah ada dalam movie. Masa Star Wars yang first episode tu. Okay? So, something that is unimaginable. But for ever since, Apple launch their first product, the iPhone, okay, whereby you can do so many things. Then with the other companies start launching all their smartphone, their version of smartphone is no longer become something that is unimaginable anymore. We were no longer limited by the technology of our time for that particular product. And today's, okay? Now, even today's, the smartphone company might be telling you we were limited by the technology of our time. Okay? There's a lot of things I would like to add into the smartphone technologies. But then it might end up, your smartphone may be as big as a laptop, and something like that. So it's not small enough. All the component parts, is not small enough yet. Okay? So we cannot squeeze everything into one product. So nowadays you can see that with more function, your smartphone is getting bigger and bigger, more and more heavy. Okay? Because of that. You know, people want battery bertambahan lah, battery boleh durable ke dan sebagainya. In the end, mereka tambah lah size battery. Kan? Because if we want a better lens, you know, for camera taking, they have to tambah lah ketebalan lens dan sebagainya. Mereka tak ada lagi teknologi untuk menghasilkan, okay, lenses that is so small but yet so powerful. Not yet. Okay, we don't have that technology yet. We are there, moving there. The research is still going on. So that's why there's a lot of improvement over the years. Oh, we have this, we have that, we have this, we have that. All this, like, for example, the phone, even the Snapdragons, you know, the processor chips, they keep on coming up with a new model that is capable of running faster, process faster, you know, more efficient in this data transmission and receiving and data and encoding, you know, and so on, you know, to be capable of handling all these high graphic requirements, you know, and so on and so forth. So kita punya screen lagi, okay, kita ada kita punya Godzilla screen ke dan sebagainya, okay, yang boleh tahan lasak lah, tahan jatuh lah, tak senang pecah dan sebagainya, okay. So who knows, maybe we are moving there, okay. But who knows what is coming up? So kalau saya tahu, saya pun dah jadi entrepreneur macam Tim Cook ataupun macam Bill Gates kan. So I also don't know, but I'm expecting something. They must be doing something. So that's why always they are coming up with something. Okay, something to surprise you, something that enable you to to pull your wallet out and then pay for that particular products. Okay, so with all this, like for example, in this let's say this earphone technology nowadays, everybody, I think if most of you have something called like the Bluetooth earphone, let it be the overhead headphone or the earbud. Okay, like myself, I'm using the AirPod Pro. Okay, and the Sony wireless active noise cancelling earbud. Okay, so why I do that? First of all, I enjoy the technology. Secondly, I need it. It's as simple as that. But my son asked me, why don't you use this normal Bluetooth earphone? Now, first of all, the normal Bluetooth earphone can't last as long as I wish or I want it to be, because sometimes I have back-to-back classes. No, after these 2 hours later, I have another 2 hours of class. So it will be 4 hours straight. So one piece of normal technology actually won't last me for 4 hours. Then my son goes, why don't you just don't use earphone at all? Just use the smartphone speaker. I say it would disturb others. Now, who is the others? Now I have other people in my house, right? So all the speakers and everything. So people might not like to hear. You know, all these, like, for example, noises. Maybe I'm working, but there are other people in the house, okay? Or even some of the conversation, you know, I just want to keep it to myself, okay? Or something like that, all right? So I enjoy the piece of that, and also, of course, for the noise, okay? For the sound quality that is being produced. Like after I've been trying so many earphone, you know, and so on, even with Sony's, you know, and so on, I still like my AirPod Pro because of this recording sound is one of the best. When I'm talking to you, it hears as if that I am talking to the phone, not through the earbud. Because the sound can be so close and so good quality that makes my recording sounds good. Because I have my requirement. Okay? So that's why, okay? In the second chapter, we will be talking about, you know, what make a product sell. Okay? What make a product quality. Okay? And because in all, manufacturing basically what they need to do is to produce a product that can sell. Okay, of course, with reasonable quality, reasonable price, you know, and so on. If something like that costs me about 7,000 ringgit, no, of course, I'm not going to buy because that's crazy. I might as well buy a new phone, right? So it will be a lot of factors that is affecting a lot in the manufacturing. It's not just to produce a product. There are a lot of factors actually affecting the product, affecting the process, okay, and affecting the choice of, let's say, the raw materials and so on and so forth. There you have to actually involve a lot of things. For example, here, you see this table here. Now, this is a manufacturing process, okay? This is manufacturing. The manufacturing basically involves putting in an input, go through the certain transformation or the transition process or transition media, and you produce an output, or more known as the product or even services. All right. Nowadays, they don't just produce finished goods. Services is also one of the things that is being produced. All right. Like, for example, if you go to class, okay, the environment in the university, okay, the facilities in the classroom, the facilities in the university, kebersihan, okay, how the lecturer talks, the quality of, let's say, the lecturing, that is service. That is service. Bukan saja anda pergi ke universiti, as long as university dia arrange siapa saja yang datang cakap bla 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 2 jam dalam kelas, that one student akan belajar. Tidak semestinya. It depends on the quality of the lecture is being given. Lecture tu kalau walaupun dia mungkin boleh sangat handal dalam sesuatu aspek ataupun sesuatu subjek, tapi tidak semestinya dia tahu mengajar. Okay, tidak semestinya dia tahu macam mana untuk nak conduct kelas supaya student can learn in the most efficient way. Mungkin dia sendiri tu dia kepala pasal thermodynamic lah, fluid lah, apa tu, dia solving question dia memang number one. Tapi bila tanya saja, sir, kenapa macam ni? Ini memang macam ni. Memang macam ni lah. Tapi they don't have a mechanism to tell you kenapa dia macam ni. He is a practitioner. He's not much so like, dia tahu, dia memang tahu. Kalau diberi macam tu, dia memang tahu nak solve. Tapi bila ditanya kenapa, dia susah bagi dia nak explain. So, is he a good lecturer? Yes, he is very capable of solving the questions, very knowledgeable, and so on. But maybe, itulah. I'm not trying to pinpoint to anybody, but sometimes, because the student is there to learn, because for me, for the university, you are the customer. Okay? Just like when you go to restaurants, your feeling or your experience towards the whole process of dining, okay, must be good. So that next time, jom kita balik ke restoran itu best lah last time. Masa kita pergi. Experience dia bagus. Waiter dia sentiasa senyum, dia punya layanan bagus, makanan bagus, suasana yang bagus, keadaan yang bersih, dia pun toilet dia pun cantik, bersih dan sebagainya, dan menu dia pun special dan sebagainya. All this contributed to, in the end, that you want to go back again. Supaya lain kali bila kawan-kawan you, rakan-rakan ke junior-junior you tanya, saya nak pergi UTM study lah. Last time you study kat UTM kan? Ya. So, macam mana UTM bagus lah? Okay, that's when your whole experience apply. UTM ni best lah. Oh, lecturer dia macam mana. I still remember last time ada satu orang yang nama dia Richard Fu, contohnya macam ni. Last time ada yang nama dia doktor ini, macam ni. Ayo mereka macam mana. Okay, so that is very important. Okay, because kalau kita pergi dining, kita punya matlamat walaupun in the end pun nak matlamat kita punya tujuan adalah untuk kenyang saja. Pergi mana makan apa pun kenyang kan. But the experience of getting kenyang tu, that one penting. Okay? Alright. So, kita back to sini. So, in the input, normally we have something called the raw materials. Alright? So the raw materials basically involve all these ingredient that is going to use in that particular product. Okay, kalaulah produk itu ada variasi, bermakna ingredient yang digunakan kan itu akan berbeza. Okay, contohnya macam mi goreng katakan. Bila anda pergi ke mamak store, Indian restaurant or any restaurant lah, anda akan order mi goreng contohnya. Okay? So restoran tu dia akan bermacam-macam punya mi goreng. Kalau anda pergi mamak, dia hantar bagi tahu dia saya nak mi goreng, ayam nak, ayam goreng nak, ataupun kambing, daging, ataupun sebagainya. Ataupun kita boleh tambah telur mata, okay, telur dadah dan sebagainya. Okay, all these ingredient will be different from order to order. Okay, contohnya anda beli phone. Okay, phone tu model apa, color apa, okay, processor apa, okay, RAM besar mana, ROM besar mana, okay, with or without. Contohnya macam ada yang macam katakan Xiaomi lah. Xiaomi dia currently dia Note 11 ada Note 11 Lite. Okay, ada Note 11 yang normal, ada Note 11 Pro. Okay, dengan Lite, dengan biasa, dengan Pro, ada perbezaan dia. Beza dekat mana? Harga dia berlainan. Apa yang menjadikan dia harga berlainan? Okay, so this is the thing that is going to affect you because the different ingredient that is being put inside your product is going to affect the finished good punya harga. Kan? Okay? And other thing is like direct labor. So labor yang direct lah. So who is the direct labor? So anybody that has a direct, okay, punya connection dengan produk itu adalah direct labor. Contohnya operator yang memasang produk tersebut adalah direct labor. Sebab dia yang memasang produk itu, dia yang proses produk itu. Walaupun cuma drill satu lubang saja, itu pun direct labor sudah. Okay, siapa yang indirect? Indirect adalah sesiapa yang tak ada kena-mengena dengan produk tersebut, okay, ataupun tak ada kena-mengena dengan produk, tetapi kewujudan dia memang penting. Contohnya cleaner. Okay, cleaner yang sapu lantai, mop lantai, bersihkan toilet dan sebagainya. Penting tak? Penting. Kalau tidak nanti toilet berbau lah semua tu. That one will make the, macam bayangkanlah kalau anda pergi ke universiti, okay, lepas tu kelas kotor-kotor, okay, tak ada, nampak sudah memang bertahun tak ada pembersihan semua tu, kerusi pun kotor-kotor satu macam saja. Okay, classroom punya dinding pun dah kotor-kotor, berpuluh tahun tak pernah mengecat. Okay, itu apa, spider web all the way everywhere. Ini dari cerita hantu ke apa tu, scenery macam tu. So it will give you macam taklah berapa selesa kan. Okay, so penting tak benda tu? Penting. Okay, dan satu lagi, image. Bila pelawat datang ke universiti, dia pergi saja toilet, oh lama, UTM punya toilet tu bukan main punya kotor. So, dia bad impression lah. Okay, so indirect labor ini termasuk juga contohnya yang tak ada kena-mengena dengan kita punya education system. Kita punya teaching and learning. Tak ada kena-mengena pun. Contohnya, our security guard. Okay, our guard house semua tu kan yang sebelum masuk universiti ada kena check lah semua tu. Penting tak? Dia tak, kalau dengan teaching and learning, dengan apa core business university, research ke apa, tak ada kena-mengena dengan dia. Tapi kewujudan dia penting. Kalau tidak ada, nanti kita punya hostel suka-suka dah masuk pencuri, kena rompak dan sebagainya. Sebab orang luar memang senang nak masuk. Okay, pindah satu hostel bagi kosong, tak apa semasa anda pergi kelas. Kalau macam tu bahaya juga kan. Kalau yang perempuan-perempuan punya hostel, suka-suka orang luar masuk macam tu. Bahaya sebab kalau tak ada security. Okay, so memang penting. Contohnya macam yang kantin dekat college-college kan. Itu dia tak ada kena-mengena dengan teaching and learning. So that one is indirect labor. All right. So kita punya facility like I mentioned just now. Okay. So all the classroom, and so on. Okay, is very very important. All right. So okay. So somebody actually requests that I speak everything in English because there's international students here. I'm sorry that I didn't aware that. All right, please accept my apology. All right, so from now on, everything will be in English, yeah. So because we have an international student here, so please be fair to him as well. All right. All right. So other than that, we have this R&D, research and development. Research and development, just like what I said, it's like this products. Basically, they'll go through a lot of research because just like what I mentioned just now, that we were limited by the technology of our time. All right. So why is that? Because a lot of things that a lot of things that we don't know yet. Okay, it's not being invented yet. Okay, it's not even being found yet. Like for example, I believe that we would like to one day, okay, create or invent a certain propulsion system that is so different from what we have now. Okay, for example, the UFO kind of traveling mode, okay, rather than aeroplane, and so on. Okay, so maybe that is already invented, but we don't know yet. Okay, maybe it's under development. Okay, so we just don't know. Just like when now recently this Apple 13 just launched, right? So people already talking about Apple 14 right now. What could be the possible update from the Apple iPhone 13, to iPhone 14? What should be included, and so on. Meanwhile, a lot of people still haven't got their iPhone 13 yet, right? So there's a lot of these kind of good vibes actually going on in the internet. All right. So why is this all important? Okay, manufacturing basically started somewhere around, okay, World War I, whereby it becomes so viral and so in need for this quest for this, what we call as the raw material, okay, start going on, okay, during or before, even before World War I, okay. So when German, Italy, and so on, when they start to grow bigger, okay, so they found out that the resources in their countries is no longer enough, okay. So they start to actually conquer the neighbors, okay. So in the end, to have war, lah. Okay. So if you understand with the histories, then after that, these allies, actually, was defeated. All right, was defeated, and then they were forced to sign the Versailles treaties. Okay, to agree the total surrender, and was limited in their military activities, and were limited in their resources, ownerships, and so on. So that actually caused, okay, their downfall of economies, and so on and so forth. So there come the Nazi, groups, and there comes the Adolf Hitler. They felt that this treaty basically is unfair, okay, to the also proud German. They believe that the German race, okay, is one of the most highest prestige, with the highest prestige genetology, breed in mankind. So they believe that they are one of the highest quality being actually exist in mankind. The rest are all rubbish. So that's why if you are other than German, you deserve to be enslaved by them. Okay, so what's the definition is that so there's this thing called the Anglo-Saxons activities, something like that. They believe that it has to be that way. A pure breed or a high quality DNA, and something, the pure breed, and so on. They have to be blonde. I'm not sure whether it's blue eyes or green eyes. I forgot already. Okay, it must be 6 feet tall, and so on. Other than that, you are just like what is being mentioned in the Harry Potter's mud blood. You are just a dirty blood, mixed blood, and so on, not pure. Okay, so you deserve to be a second class, third class, fourth class, low class, and so on. Okay, so unfortunately, I feel all that. I don't have all that. Okay, I don't have blonde hair. I even almost without hair now. Okay, so my eyes are not either blue or green. Okay, no, I'm not even 6 feet. Okay, so no, I feel all that. Okay, if according to Adolf Hitler or the Nazis' philosophy, I'm just a low class citizen or low class people. All right, but that's their ideology. So they conquer almost everything in the Europe. So basically, is to conquer for resources. Okay. Now back then it's like, when all these British, all the Westerner, when they come to Malaysia, when they defeated this Malacca, when they conquer this our Semenanjung Malaysia, and so on, what are they looking for basically? Resources. Okay. Now resources there also means our manpower. Okay, because back then we don't have so many machineries, robots, and so on. The more people you own, the bigger you are. The more resources you own, the greater you are. Okay, so our biji timah, our getah, all those natural resources that is being produced in Malaysia. Okay, or in the rest of the world, the spices, from India, and the rice from Thailand. Okay, so those were the resources that they need, either in business or anything. They can take the resources, even they themselves might not need it so much, but they can sell it to others and make profit from there. Okay, so that's why there's a need in the manufacturing to actually gain control of more resources. So that's why it started all the wars, and so on. All right. So that's the cruel thing. All right. That's the cruel thing about this all these nations, and so on, or politics. All right. I'm not so much of a politic guy, so I don't actually bother, okay, who actually in power and so on, as long as you don't disturb my life. Okay, I just a normal people actually try to live my life peacefully day by day. As long as you are decent government, and so on, basically I will support. Not if you even not support also, I will not oppose. All right. So because I'm just a normal people. If you want me to talk about having change, I'm not so much, like Barack Obama, change. No. Okay. I don't have such a power and influence as well. All right. So anyhow, I'm just a mechanical guy. What do I know, right? Okay, about politics. All right. So now, okay, make sure you mark this down. Okay, this is very, very important for you. You have 2.0 here, 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. So this is definitely going to come out in your test without fail. Every semester it will come out. The type of question asked, that one can be varies, but the area is here. Okay, now in this kind of manufacturing, or in manufacturing, all right, so in manufacturing, what we know here is that, okay, now it will be divided into a few kind of categories. All right, a few categories. Like one of One of it is the job shop production system. Now, this is the most traditional style of business. Now, let's put on an example to tell you what is a job shop production. Now, for example, one day, okay, Mr. Ali is sitting in his own shop. Okay, so without customer, okay, then he'll be like do all sort of cleaning, open up the shops, and sit there waiting for the customer. Let's zoom out a little bit from Mr. Ali. Okay, the shop name is it's a tailor. So what a tailor do? Make shirts, right? Make shirts, all those coats, all those baju Melayu, cheongsam, all the sari, and so on. Any kind of clothes, any kind of clothes. Okay, you go in. So basically, if a customer come, Mr. Ali or the wife, so depends on whether the customer is a man or a woman. Okay, so Mr. Ali or the wife actually will do the dimension. All right. Before that, maybe they will try to chit chat a little bit and then ask, what kind of shirt you want us to tailor make it for you. All right. They said, baju kurung, I want to attend my cousin's, let's say the wedding party, and so on. Okay. So I need a very grand shirt or suit or nightgown and so on and so on. Okay. So after you decide what kind of design that you want, okay, so the next stage will be choosing the fabric. Okay, you want what kind of fabric is to be put on to the shirt that you want to order. All right, what kind of button, what kind of collar. Okay, if it's a coat, or something. Even coat, you have tuxedo, and so on. All right. So after that, they'll do the body measurement. Your chest, what's the width, your arm, what's the length, and so on. The body, everybody has a different body size. All right, different body size. So in the most traditional way of making clothes is that everybody will go through this the measuring of your body, and so on, dimension. They will make this shirt, okay, especially only for you. Okay, if Mr. Ali, let's say Mr. Richard enter this tailor to make a shirt, okay, if Mr. Mutu, okay, came in and saw this clothes, how nice this shirt is, I want it. No, because it's not for him, even though the size might not fit. So Mr. Ali actually has to, if you like it, I can make an extra one for you, but based on your body size. Then you must say, Mr. Richard is a fat guy, okay? So this size might not fit you, Mr. Mutu. Mr. Mutu, you are so slim, okay? So I can make something similar with that for you. And maybe this color do not suit you as well, because everybody has a different taste according to the size, according to the fabric color, according to what kind of button can be used, and so on up to that level. Okay, so all in all, okay, I'm back to this job production system. This job production system, you have to understand that things are customly made according to the buyers or according to the one who make the order, his wishes, his taste, his likeness. Okay, and the taste from one people to another might be different. It's so different from what we have nowadays. What we have nowadays is that if we go to this supermarket or departmental store or basically everything is identical. If you go to even though to this G2000s shop, okay, or this kind of designer clothes shops, and so on, all of them is similar. One design, so the size is different. The only difference is the size. You have extra small, medium, large, extra large, double XL, triple XL, or even bigger, and so on, or even something like that. Or if you don't like this design, you have another design, but still everything is the same, just different size. There's no uniqueness. Actually, you can say that it's unique, but there are chances that when you go out, hey, same shirt, same design, same color. You buy it from that shop. Yeah, I got it during sales, Christmas sales, and so on. Yeah, okay. It would be an awkward situation whereby, ladies actually don't like that when they come on, when they go to a same occasion, okay, they meet somebody wearing exactly the same, just like them, okay, even though it's a different color, same design, okay. All right, so in the job shop production, normally, if you can see from the case, all right, from the case that I put up just now, okay, the Mr. Ali's tailor shop, right? Okay, so normally, if I will go to Mr. Ali's shop to order, let's say, a coat, okay, for my, let's say, functions, I become an MC in the university, I want to go attend a seminar, and so on. I need to stand on the stage and speech, and so on. So I need to wear something formal, let's say. Do you think how many I will order? 1, 2, 5, 10, 50? Nah, definitely not 50. I do not want 50 similar coat, similar color or even different color also. I do not like it. And how often I wear it, right? So even if I wear it every day also, I might need a different design so that people might not thought, you only have one shirt, is it? Even though I have 50 similar shirts at home, people might think that I only have one shirt and I never change. Every day you are wearing the same thing for the next 20 years. So I can't do that. Okay? It's just not my style. Okay? So normally for this kind of order, it will not be high. I will just go to, in common sense, I will just go to this tailor and make for something like 1 or 2, the most 3, I think, set of, let's say, coats, for my users. Okay? So even the 3 of them might be different design, different color, different color, and so on. Some with pockets, some without pockets, and so on and so forth. I will choose my design to make it so obviously different from one another, so that I can have 3 different set, 3 different design, 3 different color. So the safest color normally is like dark blue, black, and probably gray or something like that, more conventional type of safe color. And another thing is that it's not so easily recognized. So if you wear something that is so sharp, people will remember it always. Hey, this one, I saw Mr. Richard wear it yesterday. How come he still wear it today? Like something. I never change clothes. Better stay away from here. It must be smelly, Okay. All right. So for this kind of manufacturing, just like what I say, I'm trying to bring out this is that it is for small amount of quantity. Normally for this kind of order, people will not order too many of it. Okay. Job shop production also include, for example, if you go to a mama or the restaurants, if you want to order a fried noodle, okay, you normally will not order 50 fried noodle, right? You just order 1 fried noodle, extra chili, and then with chicken and with a fried egg on top. That is your order, your preference. Okay. If somebody come in and get your order mistakenly, he or she might be saying, "Hey, yes, I order a fried noodle, but I do not want chicken in my noodle. This must be a mistake. You must be making a mistake. This maybe is somebody else's order." Okay, so it's just like what happened in the Ali tailor, whereby if somebody mistakenly get my shirt, so let's say Ali make a mistake, okay, during when somebody go and take the shirt, so you give my clothes to him, he will say, how come this is just a coat? I'm a lady, I'm wearing baju kurung. Okay, I want my baju kurung, not coat. This is for men. All right. So easily recognizable. You know what you want because that's why. Okay. Normally in this kind of manufacturing, okay, the owner, Mr. Ali, he himself has the capability of doing or processing the product from A to Z. Means that he himself might not even need a helper. He's actually from taking the dimensions, everything, cut the fabric, sewing it, and so on and so forth. Put everything together from the beginning until the end, complete by himself. Or the most with one or two or few helper. If let's say the business is getting very good, okay, so sometimes he's too busy, so his helper can actually help him in completing the order. So in another way of saying it is that Mr. Ali has to be highly skillful. Okay, and also the equipment that normally used is a very specific kind of equipment. How specific is that? The equipment, for example, they use is in sewing, they use the sewing machine only for fabric processing. It cannot be used for any other thing. And even the scissor that they use is only for fabric punya cutting. It's different from the scissor that we use to cut paper, and so on. No, it's the different kind of scissors. And the chalk that they use normally when, because I know this kind of thing because my mom actually used to work there in a tailor. They have this kind of triangle kind of chalk, okay? This kind of chalk normally is colorful, okay? Or it's red in color, blue, yellow, all sorts of chalk, okay? So this kind of chalk basically is specially for markings, and so on the fabric, okay? So it will not leave a lot of stains, and so on that might dirty the clothes, and so on. Okay. So because when they want to cut, they need to draw it and then they cut, and so on. They need to leave some marking, here to put the button, here to put this and that. So they need to use that. All right. So normally in this kind of manufacturing, what else, what industry normally can you find this kind of still practicing this kind of philosophy? Okay, for example, okay, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Airbus, okay, Boeing, okay, those kind of commercial tankers, okay, cruisers, okay, normally it's job production. Okay, so they should change a little bit. Okay, for this kind for those kind of tankers, that's a huge product. If just produced by one person, that is a little bit illogical, right? So normally there will be a team. Okay, and the team normally is very highly skillful people. Okay, so they go by project. Okay, like for example, one day Tony Fernandez, okay, the boss of Air Asia, okay, he want to order, let's say, an Airbus 400, okay, so he will go to Airbus and say, okay, I want to order 10 Airbus for the next 10 years, so about 1 year each, right? I can't actually order 10 and then I pay you everything by next year. So I'll gradually, getting the plane. So each year you just give me one plane will do. All right. So I will tell Mr. Tony will basically tell the person in Airbus what his requirement is. Obviously, the outer painting of this Airbus must be, in red and white, the typical Air Asia style, okay, with Air Asia logo on top, at least with the words Air Asia, with all the advertisement, on the flight. So it looks very Air Asia. So in the end, you do not deliver something with Singapore Airlines on top of it. No, Tony Fernandez will not take this. Okay, and the interior design, it will be different, even though it's the same car, it's the same aeroplane. Okay, but the internally, it will be different. Now, have you noticed that in any of these Air Asia's flight, okay, the seat is always, more closer to each other's. Okay, it's lesser comfortable if compared with MAS. If compared to Singapore Airlines, okay, you are sitting highly more packed to each other's. And also, the aircraft normally it only has a toilet at the front and at the back. In the middle, sorry, no. I rather put a few more rows of seat, okay, to accommodate more customers. Because after all, I'm a low cost airliner, right? So what do you have for complaints, right? No, it saves you a lot of bucks, okay? So you just take a few more steps to go to the toilet. That's all. Okay. So I have my policy as well, right? So this is the kind of things that people actually you can actually refine your orders, okay? Refine your requirement according to your wish and according to your need as well. Okay. So for this kind of manufacturing, in manufacturing of a single and a very small quantities, normally it will not be, I want to order 1 million Airbus 400. Right? No, you don't do that. Actually, you don't have that much of money, and you don't have such a need for that many aeroplane, and so on. Okay, no two jobs are usually alike. Okay, even though I'm making two similar product, okay, even though two identical product, it will ends up not so identical. Even though the size might be different a little bit. Okay. Order may not be often complete on time. So for example, if let's say if I'm ordering it right now, to have my body measurement made, and so on. And it so happened that it is Chinese New Year, and then over the Chinese New Year, I'm eating too much, and so on, and I'm gaining weight, and so on. So in the end, after it finished, when I go back and wear it, oops, it's a little bit tight, right? Because I'm gaining weight. So maybe the Mr. Taylor, can you do something about it? Oh, okay, I can modify it for you. All right. So normally it can be, and sometimes it's due to let's say Mr. Ali, admitted to the hospital, maybe due to COVID-19, and so on, and stay there for a few weeks. So my order will definitely be delayed because of that. Okay. So it won't happen if it's being produced in factory, because if in factory it's not Mr. Ali alone. There's a lot of Mr. Ali there. Okay, so that makes a difference. But if for this kind of job shop, that's only Mr. Ali and the helper. Okay, so it might, definitely will get delayed. Okay, so high degree of skill. This one we mentioned before. Skill at the shop worker are key. Okay, this is a skill. Okay, if the skills are high, okay, so you will get a better finishing, better quality. Okay, more accurate, and so on. So the artwork, okay, the hands, the skill, okay, you can see basically from the result, basically. All right. Next one is the batch production. All right. In this batch production, okay, so normally what we have here is, as the name tells, okay, it's a batch production. So what is a batch production? It's to produce by batch. Okay, so previously is to produce by one or few unit. How few is few? That one's subjective. Like for job production, right? How few is few? Sometimes questionable. It can be one, it can be two, it can be five, it can be 10, it can be 50, it can be 100, it can be 500. Okay, because my experience with the when I'm a kid, I'm always playing around at the house when my mom is busy. You know, sometimes she work until 3-4 a.m. in the morning because the boss basically get a big order. Now, what's the big order? Tailor. All right, big order is when they receive a big order from, let's say, the local hospital to make all the the nurse and the doctor's uniform or the overcoat for the whole hospital. That will be a few hundred. That will be a few hundred set. Okay, and all these nurses, doctors will come and do the measurements, and so on, and then they start to make all the uniform. That one happened once in a blue moon. All right. So that also happened. But can you say that is a batch production? But that one is according to order. It's not according to batch. Okay. So in batch production, normally it's like, for example, J.R.R. Rowling, the authors of this Harry Potter. Okay. Years ago, when she finished writing her book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Okay, she don't know whether her books is going to sell or no. No idea back then. Okay, so she's going to find a publisher. So she found a publisher, and the publisher said, "This story looks okay, quite interesting. Interesting story about Harry Potter, magic, and so on. Yeah, maybe people will like it. So how about I print an initial 500,000 copy." Okay, back then it's not like nowadays. Nowadays everybody is going for e-copy. Okay, and even we like to read things on our smartphone, on our tablet, or something. We do not want. We no longer want to read from books because one of the things is that books deteriorate over time. Okay, and some even in their house they have this kind of termites problems, and so on. And books can be easily lost, and so on, misplaced, and so on. All right, and if you give it to the hand of a children, it can be, with a lot of extra new drawing on top of it. Okay, it happened to me a lot of times. Okay, with my kids around. Okay, when they're holding all the color pencil, they just draw over everything and every single page also with a lot of coloring, and so on. Right. All right. So when they start to print the 500,000 units of books, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stones, all right? So when they launch to the market, bam, big hit. Okay, it become an instant hit that everybody likes the book and then finish. Okay, no more. Then the publisher decided to print a second batch, second edition. Okay, this time because of the well received by the fans, and sales, they come out with a lot of this kind of special edition, the hardcover edition, and so on. Okay. And then somehow with a lot of nice, let's say, photo inside. No, that's a special edition, right? Okay, special edition. Okay, so maybe another 500,000 unit of books, and so on is being printed. So they'll print batch by batch, and over the years until now, we might also lost count on what's the current batches is. We don't know. We just don't know that, once finished, they will print. Once finished, they will print. Once finished, they will print. Okay? It happened to a lot of this kind of, let's say, if you are a collector of CDs back then, all those musical volume, album, and so on. Let's say Lady Gaga came out with a new album. Okay? And that album is very well received and received multiple platinums, award, according to sales, and so on. So maybe later they will print a second edition, the third edition, and even a special edition as a appreciation to the fans. Okay, celebrating, let's say, the double platinum status, for the sales, and so on, with extra CDs, No, the extra CD maybe contain some of the B-side from the singles, some of the remix track, or some of the live recordings, or even an MTV for the uh, hit songs, and so on, or the video recording of the concerts, and so on. And also a big giant posters, a nice booklet with a lot of a nice photo of Lady Gaga, something like that. Right? During my time, actually, this is very common. Okay, this is very common, but I know nowadays, people like to buy the songs from, let's say, iTunes, or even download illegally. Okay, download from anywhere, or just listen to any songs that is available on YouTube, and so on. This no longer become a habit, okay, in collecting all the CDs, unless you are some sort like a very hardcore fans, and so on. Then maybe you will collect all the CDs, and so on. All right, so 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 normally this is the way or how this batch production is practiced or works. Like for example, I give you more example because this will strengthen your actually how you remember what is the job shop production, what is a batch production, and later on what is the mass production. And I'll try to include mass customization, which is not in the syllabus, but however I think it's very important for you. All right. So other common example for batch production is that. So normally, what else is being produced by batch? Let's say your housing estate. Let's say a developer is going to develop or build a certain housing estate. Let's say somewhere near to the university called Pulau Perdana. Okay, so when they launch the Pulau Perdana, okay, this is the one of the housing estate. All right, let's say they launch something like 1,000 new household, single story, double story, and with multiple kind of selection A, B, C, D, E, or something like that with certain design, and so on. All right. So when they launch and then they finish the sales, because maybe due to the location is so good, maybe due to the price is so good, maybe due to basically people just like their previous development, and then they sort of have confidence over their product. Okay, so finish sales and customer keep on coming, urging, "Ayo, what a waste! All right, finish already. I'm too late. Too bad. Is there any possible that you have the second phase for that?" So normally they call it second phase, not second edition. Second phase, third phase, fourth phase. All right. So probably, highly likely, maybe the developer say, "Okay, not far from here, we still have a piece of undeveloped land that is belong to us. Okay, we can build a few more there." Okay. And also, I hear from the previous batch, there's a lot of comment that saying, how good if this is with a balcony, and so on. It's so nice. Okay, we try to modify for phase 2. We come out with the almost similar version, but with a balcony. So they will launch the second phase. Okay, so this one is another batch of similar thing, maybe with modification and at a different location. And also, they can launch the different batch in a different place. For example, the Eco World. Okay, Eco World, basically they have an Eco World in Penang, they have Eco World in KL, they have Eco World in JB, they have Eco World in Sabah, Sarawak. Okay, so basically, all of the houses basically is almost similar in terms of design. They have the same concept, okay, just at different location, different batch. Okay. So for this kind of production system, normally the lot size will be from 100 to 5,000. And previously, I do mention about 500,000 unit of books, right? So it can be, but as long as the main philosophy is this, it has to be in batch. Okay, you produce one batch. If no sales, everything is stopped there. Until you finish, there won't be another batch. If even until you finish, okay, and if there is no more demand, then that's it. There won't be a further batch. Just like, for example, no matter how good is the sales of some of these very good selling albums, and so on. Like, for example, some of the Michael Jackson's CDs, album, and so on. But nowadays, people no longer demand for it because it's being, it's not to say that it's no longer nice, just that those that will buy already buy. Okay, they already have the collections, and so on. And the new fans actually, the type of music they listen might be different. Okay, they no longer want to listen to Michael Jackson, and so on. So maybe there is no longer printing it anymore. Maybe they put on iTunes. If you want, you just buy it. Okay, the mode of media, okay, downloading or owning an album, actually, the mode of the preferences is different now, because nowadays you don't see people buying CDs anymore. I mean, rarely we see people buying CDs. As you can see that there's a lot of this kind of CD shops, and so on, start closing down and start disappearing. And even a lot of these singer, basically, they release their songs, they release their album online. They go through iTunes, like $1 per track. Okay, so you can buy from there. Okay, so it depends, right? So that's the advancement in technology. Okay, that's the change in style, in culture, in lighting, and so on. All right. So the summary for this batch production is that. So it's called batches. So this the product has to be produced in term of batch. Okay, batch in term of quantity, in term of timing. Okay, in term of location. Batch can be small, medium, or large in volume. Okay, general purpose machine or tool equipment are used to provide the necessary degree of flexibility. Okay, like for example, the book publisher, when they come to print the books, it doesn't matter if they are printing Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or the Lord of the Ring, or even some of the books, this book, that book, doesn't matter what book that you print. They are still using the same printing machines. Okay, as long as you load the right file, okay, then it will start printing. Okay, just like printer, right? It doesn't matter. It's not being made as specially for printing a certain book. It can be not just book, okay? Because some of you might ask, then what's so different about sewing machine? The sewing machine you can use to sew a coat, you can use to sew any clothes, right? Any design of clothes, and so on. But that's all fabric. Now, printing of book and printing of poster, printing of flyers, printing of newspaper, everything, they use the same machines. Okay, it doesn't matter as long as it's paper, and then some of them maybe even can use for printing films. Okay, like this kind of overhead. Previously before we have the overhead projector, we have the overhead projector, the old one with you have to on it, and then with the strong light, you put a transparent slide on top that is going to project it to the white screen, and it's so bright and hot. All right. So each operation is complete to the whole batch before they start another batch. All right. So normally it happens this way. All right. In the construction, normally. So they will start to do all the piling, all the groundworks, done for all of the houses. If let's say you have 2,000 houses, all of the 2,000 houses, all the groundwork, all the piling, and all stuff, and then they will start laying down the bricks, to build a wall, and so on. It will be complete, the whole 2,000 unit. Next, they are going to do the plastering of the wall. Okay. Plus after the plastering of the wall, then it comes what? The wiring man. So they will come to do the wiring, for the whole house, electricity, and so on. For the 2,000 units, they will do it in batches. Even the plumbing later on, even the interior design, even the kitchen's cabinet, and so on, and later the roofing, okay, later the door, interior window, and so on. All right. So they will do batch by batch. If I want to install the door, I'll install the door for the whole housing estate for all the 2,000 unit of house. If I want to do the, let's say, the drainage system, so I'll do it for everything, for the whole place. Okay, so they'll do batch by batch. All right. So it has a very high work in progress, let's say. Why? It's because you have 2,000 house. Obviously, the 2,000 house will be the work in progress. You can't just finish one and then finish the second one and then finish the third one and then finish the fourth one. All right, you can't do that. Okay. And then that would lead to a lot of high inventory and involve for high capital. All the money actually is invested into the household or the housing estate by the developer. So if there is any possible, okay, let's say the cash flow problem, okay, the cash flow problem, and then it will be, okay, they will be facing a lot of problems, okay, so they might in the end went bankrupt, and so on. All right. So the difficulties in obtaining the accurate product cost. So a lot of things is actually when we estimated the price now, so you cannot actually use it for the price for the future, because like for example, let's say before the MCO, you actually sell the house. Okay, let's say like in year 2019, you sell the house, sales and purchase agreement already signed, let's say for 300,000 ringgit Malaysia, and then suddenly the MCO came. You cannot work, you cannot everything, there's no progress of the house, and so on. So in the end, and some more with the current MCO, and so on, all the raw material price gone up, and so on. In the end, the cost that you are going to use to actually make the product actually increase. But what can you do? You can't just call back the customer, hey, the sales and purchase agreement we signed last year is no longer valid, because the price actually gone up. So if we continue to build your house this way, we might not be able to get a profit. We might make a losses. So I do not want to sell you the house anymore. Now you can't do that, because the sales and purchase agreement carry a lot of these legal meanings, and so on, whereby it's a sales and purchase agreement. Okay, you agree to sell the house, and the buyer agree to purchase the house from you. So no matter the raw material gone up double, triple, quadruple, and so on, how many times it goes up, also you have to stick with that price. So that would be a very disadvantaged thing. But of course, if without this MCO, probably the price will remain the same. So that's why it is very unpredictable. Okay, if suddenly, let's say, a certain war erupted, let's say, if Singapore attack Malaysia, let's say, okay, let's say, who knows, one day they become crazy, okay, they attack Malaysia, and then after that, our ringgit, plums, and so on, all the raw materials price start going up, and so on. Who knows? That might happen, okay? Or who knows? And a war happened in these particular regions, and so on. You just won't know that, all right? So it has a very high scrap cost if you want to scrap the whole thing. The build out halfway, the house is not so nice, bad quality, that's why let's demolish it and build again. So you don't do that, right? Okay. Okay, machine tool underutilized. So there's a lot of this kind of machine tool that you use to make a product, and then in the end, that you after you finish the batch, like so on, then you no longer use it. Okay, so you keep it. So for this manufacturer, it would be underutilized. Okay, all right, it will be considered underutilized. So until the next time. Okay, until the next time we are going to do the same thing. All right, so and then we are going to take it back and use. Now maybe it's already spoiled back then, after that. All right, so we move on to the next one. It's called this mass production. Okay, so the high mass production actually is the production system, okay, where product is normally produced, okay, and producing in identical form. Okay, now most of our product nowadays that we are using is actually from a mass production system. Okay, just like your smartphone, just like your laptop, just like your television, radio, okay, and all sort of things. Fan, aircon, okay, all are identical, same design, same outlook, maybe small differences in this detail inside interiorly, internally might be different. All right, so it can be different in a way, but very very minor different. So the name itself actually telling you or suggest to you that it is a system to produce in mass quantity. Okay, so why do we need to do that? Okay, so if without that, nowadays, okay, we won't be buying a lot of products, because a lot of product, if it's being produced with the previous two production method, it will not be so low price or so affordable. Okay, like for example, our car back then is very very expensive. It's only a gadget for the very rich people. Okay, not for average people like us. So by having production in such a high quantity, they managed to bring down the price to an acceptable level of price range that is affordable for everybody, because it's being produced with less variety, okay, less choices. Like for example, this is how we produce and this is what we produce. If you want, you can buy it. Okay, everything is the same. So like for example, the car that you purchase, okay, so the only thing different will be the color of the car. All right, so maybe whatever other choice that you have, auto or manual. Okay, the color of the car, the cc of the car, the how many liter, 1.5, 1.3, 2.0. Okay, so only very limited choices that is available for you. All right, so even nowadays, this product that you purchase, TV, television, like the only thing is that you can choose is the size of the TV. Okay, you don't have a choice to actually say, no, I do not want this, I want that, I do not want this, I do not want that, I want this. You don't have a choice. You don't have your say in deciding what you want and what you don't want for a product. Okay, so that's why there's a okay. So in summary, this thing is actually, so it's large volume and of identical product. Okay, high production rate. So high production rate is just like this. If I'm going to spend that much of money on worker, on facility, on rental, on buildings, and so on, I only produce one product a day. If I'm going to spend similar amount of money, but I'm going to produce 100 products a day. So producing one product a day and producing 100 product a day Of course, the one produce 100 products a day has the capability or can afford to sell the product at a lower cost, at a lower price, not making that much of a profit because I have 100 of them. Versus I have only one. Okay, so imagine that it's not 100 but thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and even millions of it. So with the same amount of, let's say, investment, then I can sell the product at a tremendously low cost because I am bringing down the cost of goods sold. If you are familiar with this kind of financial terminology, it's called COGS, cost of goods sold. The cost of your goods sold. Okay, so if you manage to bring this down, means you can save here. This one, I do not want to waste money in this thing. This one, I want to increase the efficiency. This one, I cut the head count. This one, I cut this. I can bring in more machines to improve my efficiencies, my effectiveness. In the end, I'm using less human, more machines, and so on. So in the end, I managed to push up my production with lesser cost. Okay, so in the end, now when this thing is brought down, I have two alternatives. Okay, one, I have a bigger profit margin, means that my cost is low, but I'm still selling at the same price. So in the end, means that I'm earning more money, making more profit. Or number two, I can sell this product at a cheaper price. I'm still making profit. I'm selling it cheaper than my competitors. Okay, means that people might buy my product. Don't buy from A brand. A brand is more expensive. Buy from this. This one, similar quality. Okay, similar specification, but selling at a much lower price. Right. So in the end, okay, I might improve or increase my market share. But of course, there's a limit in that. You don't expect, for example, iPhone 13 to be similar price with Xiaomi, and so on at 1,000 plus 2,000 ringgit. Okay, you don't expect that. Okay, because that is a premium flagship product. Okay, but of course you can go if you want to compare. You compare like iPhone SE with Xiaomi, and so on. That is more comparable, apple to apple, orange to orange, right? So the specific machine or purpose machine to adopt to carry out the same function continuously. So there is an implementation of this equipment, tooling, okay, automations, and so on. Okay, so this kind of thing actually helps in improving the efficiencies, especially in those repetitive job. Okay, repetitive job, tiring, boring job. Normally they will use this kind of machines to help. Like for example, I'm telling you one thing is like when, let's say, in the laptop industries, let's say if you see from your laptop, normally you can see something like in your laptop, normally around this area, so there will be two stickers. One is Intel inside, another one is Core Duo or Dual Core, right? So previously there are people actually in the production line. He'll be standing there or sitting down. Okay, when the laptop came in front of him, so he'll put sticker Intel inside, Core Duo only, then pass on to the next person. Another laptop come, he'll put Intel only, Intel inside, Cordua, and then pass on to the next person. And the next person probably is going to wrap it with a plastic bag, with a certain foam kind of bags. And then the next person is going to plug in the foam at the side. And the next person is going to put in the whole thing into a box. And then the next person going to tape it. Then you finish the packaging. So his job is to put the Intel inside sticker and the Cordua sticker. These two jobs for the rest of the day. Every day he came to work, he will only put the sticker. He will become the expert in putting sticker. He will be like a blind man. Once he hold the sticker, he will put it down and it's stick exactly to the place where he wanted it to be. He can be as expert as that, but still, this particular person do not feel a very how do I say, a great sense of belonging that he is very important for the job, or even feels that he is doing something very important for the company. Like, for example, if today I am on MC, I tell you, nobody can stick the sticker. Now, you can't say that. Okay, because highly likely some of the industrial engineer will design some jig to put on top of it. Now, if you put the jig on top of it, so there will be two holes here. The left one is for Intel only. The right one will be for Cordua inside. So as long as you stick in the middle, okay, then the sticker will be just right where it should be. Now, with that, okay, you can be easily replaced. Okay, you don't feel a very good job security because your job is easily available for anybody else. Okay, anybody can do your job, unless you are probably very famous in, let's say, in repairing the machine. You know, the whole production floor depends on you. Now, even when you are having MCs, you know, people calling you, you know, when you are coming back, you know, so on and so on, you know, machine spoil and break down, you know, and so on. Okay, so that's how important it is. That's how some of the worker actually feel unimportant in this their job. So that's why there's a very high turnover. Okay, when people start feeling, you know, there's no satisfaction working there. Okay, I don't feel like I was needed by the company. You know I'm already old, I'm getting slower, you know, and so on. Later, you know, a lot of these Form 5 leaver come in. I no longer needed, maybe I got laid off, you know, and so on. So there's a lot of levers. And then in the end, the company basically have to spend more money in training a new stuff to replace the levers. Okay. All right. So in the end, there's high turnover. All right. Okay. So this kind of job basically, so because of that also, because of this the nature of the job, so normally the pay will not be that high as well. All right. So this the satisfaction of the worker might not be that good. Okay. So, and also one thing is that, back to the putting sticker thing. So if if my job is to put sticker, if I put sticker, suddenly sticker finish. So what should I do? I stop, right? Then I'm alerting, no more sticker, no more sticker. And then the next person who actually put the wrap on the laptop, you know, and so on. Now, since sticker is not yet put, now I cannot wrap the thing, so I stop. And then this person who actually put the supporting frame actually beside this laptop. Now, before you enter this the carton, right, the box, right, also stop, because the previous person never finished, the previous person never finished, and this last guy also never finished. So the whole thing after the sticker guy, okay, just because the sticker actually doesn't stick on the laptop, the subsequent process all stop. Okay, so similarly, if there is one machine fail to operate, okay, it will affect the rest of the production. Okay, so that's how it is. All right, so let's rub this off. So there's a lot of this. Okay, so for this kind of facility, normally it's a high setup cost. Okay, even though it's similar thing, mass production, and so on, it involves a lot of automation. Like for example, the Proton City, okay, the facility to assemble a car. Okay, so even though it's a simple setup, even though simple, but it's not so simple as well because it involves a lot of automation, robots, and so on. Okay, so the setup cost is very high. Okay, production hold up due to machine to downtime. So like I mentioned just now, any machine breakdowns, and so on. So it will affect the whole production system. Okay, high capital costs involved for setting up the factory, for building, the buildings, or renting, even for purchasing the buildings, and so on. Okay, so high cost due to plant design change, introducing product design change. Okay, whenever you want to produce or launch a new products, and so on, you have to change a lot of things. Your jigs and fixture need to change. Your working instruction need to change, and so on. Maybe the programs of your machine need to change or maybe reprogram to the new let's say the new setup, and so on to suit the new design. Okay, so there's a lot of things, and then this one, as I mentioned, low operator job satisfaction and cost of operators training actually is high because of high labor. You just can't actually keep people working for you because some of them might be boring working there, as just put stickers, and so on. They don't see the future, and so on. All right. So this is the three things that always come out in your test. At least one of it will, or sometimes two, depends on how the question is being asked. Okay, so we'll go through it in this tutorial class. All right, so I'll run the tutorial class probably from week 3 or so. All right, so right now it's still new. Okay, so we normally wait until we finish chapter 1 at least, or chapter 2, then only we start, because chapter 1 and chapter 2 will be features in your test 1, sorry. All right, next, before we actually end the class, okay, I want to talk to you about this. Mass customization. Okay, so it's a combination of mass production and the customization from the job production. How to actually produce something in high quantity yet to have a high mix of variety of products. Now this thing is being implemented, okay, or started by this let's say the thing that by Dell Computer. One of it is by Dell Computer, whereby you can purchase a laptop. You just go to their website. Okay, let's say log in, and then of course with payment methods, your credit card, everything register there. So because they just want to know who they should bill to. Okay, in other words, who is going to pay for the laptop. All right, So in the end, all right, what you have to do is that you go to their webpage, you choose the right laptop to purchase. Okay, like Dell Inspiron, something like that. Okay, Inspiron, which series? The 3000 series, 4000 series, or whatever 1000 series. Okay, and you can choose you want AMD or Intel. Okay, the chipset, or you want what kind of motherboards. Okay, built-in modem, built-in whatever, built-in sound card, built-in graphic card. If you do not want the built-in, which one that is, which other brand that you need? For example, for sound card, you want Creative sound card, or for you want NVIDIA graphic card. Okay, and even for hard disk, what's the size of the hard disk you want? What brand? Western Digital, Sony, okay, or the amount of RAM do you need? Kingston or other brand, okay, or Samsung. All right, so there's a lot of things that you can choose from, and also you can choose, of course, what color, and so on. But of course, that is for laptop. Okay, now how about if I can do it with a car? I demo. Nowadays, a lot of other industry basically is following this. Like for example, if you go to this, let's say, this is my Apple Store. All right. So if you go to this Apple Store, okay, nowadays you can do shopping is rather quite easy. If let's say if I want to purchase an iPhone 13 Pro, okay, so I just can buy, okay. Now here they give me two choice. If for this, I can choose this, okay, from this price, and then the next one I can choose is to choose the color, and then next, what I have to do is to choose the capacity that I want. If I want to, and then, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. But of course, this is just a very limited, okay, limited things that I can do with this app, because they simply just allow us to customize on these few things only. Okay, so if let's say if we can customize, okay, if we can customize greatly, okay, or more efficiently, okay, probably not just these few things that we can customize. Like for example, if previously with this mass production system, all right, let's say Proton, they will be building the car or assembly the car just like this. Okay, today we are going to produce 1,000 cars. Okay, Proton Saga, white color, 100 car. Red, 100 car. Metallic, 100 car. They will just based on the forecast, based on their experience, and so on, to produce and to predict what or how many cars they want to produce. And in the end, it is proven to be a failure, because in the end, they have over excess production of car that they need to rent a place to keep their stocks. Okay, some is being put there for years that they cannot sell. In the end, they ends up with a lot of defects, quality, and so on, because the car is already put there for too long. Okay, because under the sunshine, under the rain, and so on, the cars basically, the colors faded, and so on. All right. So in the end, what can this mass customization do to them? This mass customization can do this. All right. Okay. Let's say if I want to produce, let's say, white cars. Okay. So white color, white color, white color car, white color car. So if in mass customization, what they produce here should be the first white color car belong to this guy called Richard Fu. Proton already know. Richard Fu make this order for a car that is white color. How many cc he want? What kind of sport rim he want? Is there any skirting required? Is there any spoiler required? Is there a CD player, DVD player with Bluetooth, with reverse sensor, how many airbags, and so on. Every detail is listed down. So Proton just have to assemble according to Richard Fu's order onto this white color car. And this white color car already has an owner. Meanwhile, this car by, let's say, Mutu, and Mutu actually make orders according to his order. He want this, and it's totally different from what Richard Fu want. Okay? So maybe Mutu just say, I don't bother about this DVD player or whatever CD player. I just most of the time listen to radio. Okay? I don't mind. As long as when I get into the car, got sound. That's it. Okay? So I do not need a sport rim. I'm not so fancy. I'm very down to earth, So maybe the requirement is different. It's more basic requirement. Okay? So Mr. Khalid, maybe this white car here. I want to make my car into a sport car alike, with spoiler, with the sticker at the side, and so on. So you can do that, okay? And maybe with tinted film as well, and so on. Now, why do people need this? Because in the end, okay, normally when we purchase a car, okay, previously, okay, is that we are getting standard edition. We are getting standard installation from the factory. They will come together with all the standard things that we can't basically change. So in the end, we have to do it afterwards. Now, after that, when we get the car, no sport rim. It's just a normal rim. We have to go to the tire shop, and we're going to buy the sport rim, and then we are going to trade in our existing sport rim together with the tires. So it's just like I'm paying twice. I'm paying once during my purchase of the car, and then later on I have to sell it off cheaply to get a new set of sport rim and to get a new set of tires. That will be a double work and a waste of money. Why don't I can do it at the source of the assembly that is in the car assembler place? I just tell Proton I want a sport rim of this size. That's it. How much I have to add extra, I don't mind paying. Right? If they come in with a standard CD player or just a standard players where I don't like, now I would like to upgrade it to a DVD player with a screen with the reverse sensors, the reverse camera, and so on, so that I do not have to go to the shop, trade in my players, and then get a new one, and then sometimes fixed with a lot of problems, and so on and so forth, and maybe disturb the wiring in the cars. All right, so that would be a very let down. That would be a very let down and time wasting. Okay, and sometimes we, in the working class people, we have to go and do a lot of things. Go and do a lot of things, extra things, using our extra times. All right, so maybe that's one of these ways that this. I know that nowadays you have more choices, and so on. Okay, so maybe not until that yet. Okay, until that we can decide on almost everything. Okay, the colors, the color, yes, of course. Okay, the manual, auto, yes, of course, and then the rest, the other things, All right, so depends on how it suits, how it suits the product as well, because some of them they can't just let you change easily. Okay, they just can't let you actually modify easily. So that's why, like for example, the Apple Store's apps that I showed you just now. You just have only these few options, okay? Because that's the only thing that they made it available for you all, okay? So maybe, who knows, in the future you can get more, okay? You can get more. I don't mind. Let's say I just want to have the iPhone 13 casing. The inside, I can use older chips. Never mind, chipset. Never mind. I don't mind the speed. I just want the casing. I mean, you can do that. Okay, to have, let's say, iPhone 13 casing on 10s Max or iPhone 7's interior. I don't mind that. Some of the camera doesn't work. Never mind. Okay, I just want it to be stylish when I'm holding it. Who knows? All right. So I think this mass customization actually is all in progress right now. There's a lot of this. Even Proton actually is doing it. Okay. So we are looking forward for more things that we can change. Like, for example, we can decide on what brands of certain parts that they use. Like, for example, when we go for, let's say, the car maintenance, and so on, the mechanics normally they will ask you, do you want the Proton Saga original spare parts or the compatible one? Okay, so what's the difference? Actually, more or less the same. Okay, Proton original one is more expensive, obviously. Okay, but when you talk about performance, literally not much different. You know, for a lot of people, the compatible one maybe is more than enough. For that, you can decide, your cost of the car. If based on this and that kind of parts combination, you can bring down the car price further. And for those who actually have actually limited budget, it's more suitable for them. That's a good thing. All right. So it's 3:50 now. So I think I'll end my class here. All right. So until next time. So have a nice day. So